Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Get Social. Happy Friday. Um, I am here because we are going to be sewing Simplicity 9789 this week, and we're actually going to be doing a hack of the skirt. So we're going to be doing View D, which is the skirt, and we're going to be doing a hack of the skirt. This is not the first time that we have hacked this pattern. If you go back and look at the live sew alongs, you will remember that we also hacked this top, and we created a Altuzarra inspired dress, which is basically the version of the dress that is the ruching from the top to the bottom. And so I actually made it twice, once on live, but two versions. And so today we are going to be making the skirt. Hi, Quana. Welcome. Happy Friday. So today we're going to be making the skirt, and I believe it is a really easy sew. I actually did make a, it's not a muslin because I will be wearing it out of Ponte knit. Unfortunately, you can't really see the ruching that much because of the fabric that I chose. So I did use some fabric from Joann's that was on the last chance rack, which is, anybody knows that, you know that it is fabric that is like basically you get it for, dirt cheap. And this is, if you, this is like Halloween fabric, but I thought it was so cool to see like the eyes through it and the mummy wrapping. And I thought, oh, this would make a really cute skirt or dress. And so I did make it. It is super cute, but you can't really see the ruching because the fabric kind of hides it a little bit, although you could kind of see it on the sides if you look really, really closely. But I'm excited to wear this skirt. In fact, I might wear it this weekend because it is really super cute. But even this skirt, we're going to do a little bit differently on the one that we're doing today, because we will be adding the waistband to the one today. I did not add the waistband to this one because the fabric didn't need it, and so I decided just like I'm not adding it because I liked it without the waistband. But we're going to be doing it because I'm doing a little bit of a different fabric today. So hi, Monica. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see, who do we have here? Lavette, Lois, Lee, Alejandro, Carolyn, Faith, Lisa, Aronica. Welcome. Thank you all for joining. So, what we're doing, and for those that might be joining me for the first time, I am streaming live on multiple platforms at the same time. I am streaming on Facebook and YouTube, but also using StreamYard, but then also streaming on TikTok. So if you see me looking one way or the other, or not exactly at the camera, it is because I am looking at both of the cameras. So thank you all for joining. I hope other people are sewing along, but again, because you're going to get most of the instructions today, I can also understand if you plan to sew after the fact. So it's very understandable. So this is the fabric that I am using for the actual skirt itself. And then the ruching is an overlay on the skirt. And so I'm really excited. I found this fabric also on Last Chance, which it was dirt cheap. I can't even remember how much I paid for it, but it was really, really cheap. And but it has a little bit of it has a two-way stretch to it. So I will be using this. But look at this. How beautiful is this fabric? Like, this is like super cute. So we're gonna see how it all works out, but it is stretchy. It has a nice little two-way stretch to it. But you can see through it. If you weren't able to see, you can see through it. I'm a little nervous about the little silver part, the glittery part, because although it's not shedding a lot or coming off a lot, peeling a lot, it is coming off. I can see a little bit. So it probably will take a couple of washes before it fully is off, but you can see through this fabric. So you're going to see this blue lining, the skirt underneath of it. If you could see that a little bit. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really cute. And when I try it on for you, I'm going to actually try it on with you with the jean top that I made last Sunday, 7757. If you all remember, I made that in jean. And so I'm going to try it on with this. I haven't tried it on obviously because I haven't made it. So I don't know how well it will be styled, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But just to give you a little bit of an idea, I do have like a navy blue tank like this. So in the alternative, when I actually do wear it, I might just wear something really simple like that tank, because this fabric has a lot going on with it. I also thought about, to be honest with you, I thought about doing it, making this the outside instead of making this the outside, making this part the outside. So just to give you an idea of how that's different. I think either one could work. So we'll see what happens with it. But anyway, that's the overlay. So we're going to get started. You really only need 2 pattern pieces. For this, you need the skirt pattern piece, which is piece number 8. And so in order to prep, I did do a little prep post to tell you what you needed to do to prep, but you will cut out your skirt fabric, which is the fabric that will be like your underlay fabric. You will cut out that fabric. You'll cut out that pattern piece number 8. You'll cut 2 pieces, which is 1 piece is for the front, 1 piece is for the back. You will need to, if you want your skirt to be longer than the actual pattern piece, you want to make sure you make adjustments to the length of that pattern piece before you cut out your actual skirt fabric. So to give you an example, this, I used pattern piece number D, is size 12 to cut this, but I doubled the length because I wanted the skirt to come down to my ankle, which this does. You can't really see on here, but it does come down. It does come all the way down to the ankle. But in the one that we're doing today, I did not adjust the length at all. We're sticking with the exact length. That's for the skirt piece. Now, when you cut your overlay piece, you do need to double the length of your overlay piece. So the width is still the same. The length is always going to be double. So just remember, if you double it, because you increase the length of the actual skirt itself in terms of how far down you want it to come, you want your overlay piece to be twice that. Because of the gathering that we're going to be doing on the side to create the ruching, you need to make sure that you have enough fabric. Otherwise, you'll gather it and it'll be really short, and then your skirt will show. And the intent is to have enough to create that ruching effect. You need to gather it enough so that you are completely covering the entire skirt, but you have enough fabric so that you create that kind of ruching effect from the top of the skirt to the bottom of the skirt. So you do need to double the length of the ruching, of the overlay fabric. So just to give you an idea, this is my skirt fabric, which will be underneath. You really won't, well, you will see it because this fabric is see-through, but if you didn't have fabric that was see-through, you wouldn't be able to see this. So this is the skirt length, and I actually probably did it a little bit longer than double because I wanted to be really, the ruche effect to be real, but you really only need to do double the length. And I only did double the length on this one. And when I made it for the dress, when we did it with the skirt, I only did double the length. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just had for those that aren't aware, I'm thanking Lisa or Black Women Stitch, because I do have a membership on my YouTube channel, Let's Get Social, and Lisa just became a member. So thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, so with that said, we are going to get started. Please drop any questions that you have in the chat, and I will answer them as we go along. Again, welcome, Kay. Hi, Unsocial. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those that don't know, you just made me think about it. There is a challenge going on this month. If you're not aware, it is the Hackathon Challenge, and I think it's probably one of the most awesome challenges. One, because I love to hack, and it's been exciting to see all of the other people hacking. Each week they have a new theme. And this week they are doing, I think, is it skirts and dresses or just skirts? I know they're doing skirts for sure. And so if you are thinking about participating in the hackathon challenge, this pattern would be perfect for you to be able to hack, and this hack that we're doing today. So thank you for hopping on. And skirts alone. So it's skirts this week. Skirts are the focus of this week's challenge. So definitely tune into Instagram. Oh, hey. Thank you. Just definitely tune into Instagram. Look up the hashtag. It is Pattern Hackathon 24, and look at all the people that are participating. There are ambassadors each week that are inspiring you with their sew along. So definitely take a look. It is, again, extremely exciting. You will be motivated by it. I know that I am motivated by it as well. And so excited that coincidentally, I'd already planned to do this so long, and that it falls right in line with the Pattern Hackathon. So really excited. And Lisa, thank you. I'm so excited that you got your shirt today. So again, for those that aren't aware, I do have a social media influencer tee that has a description that describes the work that we all do every day. Lisa of Black Women Stitch is definitely a social media influencer, somebody that I have been influenced by since I met her in the sewing scene. And so she did get her social media influencers t-shirt today. And she says her spouse was impressed. And she said, they were like, is that your design? She was like, no, not my idea. Yes. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. And then again, for those that are considering participating in the hackathon, it is going on all month long. And skirts is week 2. This is the second week. Tops were last week, skirts week 2, and dresses are in week 4. So let me see. Tammy said, for the hackathon challenge, does it have to be a successful hack to participate? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by successful hack, meaning does it have to be what you intended to be? They have, rules for what is considered to be a hack of the pattern. So I would definitely encourage you to go to Instagram and go to Unsocial, who is on now. She can definitely drop some additional details in the chat for you about the hackathon challenge. But I would definitely encourage you to go to her page, Unsocial, on Instagram, and you can get more information. But definitely, if anybody is participating, definitely drop some details in the chat for those that also might be interested as well. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to continue to check the chat. Leandra says, is that a skirt on the mannequin? I love that fabric. Yes, it is a skirt on the mannequin. And this is actually Halloween fabric. This was on the last chance as Halloween fabric. And it was like the mummy that is wrapped with the eyes peeking through. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that's like a cute fabric for a skirt. So that's why I decided, I'm going to do this. The only downside is that you cannot really see the ruching because the fabric kind of hides it a little bit. So, all right, we're going to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is create ruching on our overlay fabric. So there's 2 ways that you can do that. One, you can do it the traditional way, which is to basically create 2 lines of basting stitches on the edge of each side of the fabric. And what I would encourage, I have not done it that way, but obviously I know that way works because I've used basting stitches before to create ruching, and it is an absolute effective way of doing it. I have traditionally done it. I did it in this one, and I did it in the 2 dresses that I created ruching. And typically when I create ruching, I use my gathering foot, which I love so much. So I use this method to create, my gathering, but you can absolutely use basting stitches. And so if you do use basting stitches, then what I would suggest is to not create 1 long basting stitch down, but to create at least 2 to 3. So just take a section and create like basting stitches in a section, maybe like a foot or 2, or let's say 12 to 24 inches, and then create another section, and then create, another section. Like I would say at least 3. Like this fabric is 72 inches long, which is twice the length of my skirt. And I would do the same thing on the other side. Create 2 rows, but break it up into sections and not just have one long row of basting stitches. If you are using the basting stitch method, you do want to make sure that you adjust your stitch length to the longest length that you could have on your machine, or at least a 5.0 width length is typically a good length to have for a basting stitch. And so you want to make sure that you adjust it that way. That way you'll have the ability to be able to create the gathers easily. You also want to make sure that you pull out some of the thread to start with so that you have strings to pull on the you want to make sure that you have a string to pull when you are starting to create your gathers. And again, the last thing that you want to do is make sure that you create 2 rows of basting stitches. So I'm going to use my gathering foot in order to create my my gathers, but you absolutely can use basting stitches to create your gathers. I think this hack is a fairly easy, straightforward hack. And let me see, and I'm just adjusting. So I'm adjusting my gathering foot. For those that are going to use a gathering foot, I adjust mine to 1 gather every 6 stitches is what I adjust it to. And let me add my, oh, here we go. I'm just adding my extra camera so you can see. There you go. And let me turn this around so that you can see. There we go. So yeah, I'm doing 1 gather every 6. I just find the gathering foot to be much easier than, or not, I'm not gonna say easier. It's not that using a basting stitch method, oh, I gotta change my foot, is not difficult at all. I just like using the gather foot. I feel like it's faster. I don't know, is my reasoning is that it is faster. You also want to make sure that when you're creating your gathers that you are doing them in your seam allowance, because when we are putting our skirt together, you're going to have all that gathered part in your seam allowance. So that is going to be important. Yeah, this fabric is really nice. I wish I would have gotten more, but I've been really focused on not overbuying fabric and trying to use what I have. So the fact that I even bought this is like, it's only because it was like dirt cheap, super, super cheap. Now, you all remember last Sunday, I was on Sunday service making 7757, and I was challenged to make the 7757 view B with faux leather. So I did order my faux leather. I still have to go pick it up from Joann's because I will be trying to figure out when I'm going to have time to squeeze that in and do it in the midst of getting ready for frocktails. So that's a great question. So Monica asked, how do you know if it will be 36 inches when I finish at the end? So what I've done in the past, I have not mastered how you determine, how long the gather will be. I think the great thing about this particular skirt is that if it comes a little bit longer, it's not going to make a difference. But the other way that I have done when I did it with this one, I did have to make some adjustments by taking a couple of the stitches out, like in the middle, to make it fall longer, because I did single stitches for half of it, and then meaning a gather every stitch, and then I did a gather every 6 stitches. But one of the things that I did do was just take the skirt and line it up, and if it wasn't enough, I might take it out and take a portion of it out and then use a smaller stitch. So like in this case, it does fall a little bit longer, but not much longer. So, and as I mentioned earlier, I did make this, so this is a little bit longer than the skirt length. So had I followed the exact skirt length, it probably would have measured up exactly. But there probably is, Monica, a method to determine how much your fabric is going to shrink. And that is where the gathering method is a little bit easier, because you can just adjust it to know that it is going to be the right size. So in this case, it's probably about, it looks like it is about 1.5 inches longer than the skirt. And that's probably because I did it a little bit longer. And that's using one gather every 6 inches. But that's a great question, and I don't know the precise answer. So if somebody has used a gathering foot and it knows a precise way to determine when you are putting your gathers in, how to determine what the ultimate width would be, I would be very interested in that. And I'm sure I probably could look it up and find out. I have used the kind of YOLO method when it comes to the gathering foot, which means I kind of wing it and figure it out. Particularly like in this case, because I created another one before this, I had a feeling that doing a gather every 6 stitches was going to make it too small, but gathering it every 6 was more exact. But that was kind of a trial and error method. It's not an exact method. So, but that is a really good question, and one that I probably should have tried to figure out before this live so I could give you more direction on it. Let me see. So Lena's, oh, you said, Lisa, you wanted that too. You haven't given yourself time to use your ruffler foot. And by the time, I mean, you said 12 years. So Lisa said, how do I like standing up? Hey, Karen, I love sewing standing up. I'm not going to lie. It's not even comfortable for me to sit down anymore. I found that when I was sitting down, my neck started to bother me. So I had been standing up for the greater part of a year and a half, I think. It's so comfortable, and I think it has a lot to do with the height of my my sewing machine, but it is very comfortable for me. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I don't have any discomfort at all. I'm able to get to my foot, my presser foot easily. Yeah, I definitely do enjoy it. I like it a lot. Let me see. Hi, Miss Tata. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So I'm just putting my ruffles in on one of the overlay panels, and then you are putting ruffles in or putting gathers in on both sides. So I finished one side, and you can already kind of see how the gathers are in there a little bit. You can kind of see how it's going to be. So I've finished one side, and now I'm going to do the other side. And I'm literally going to do the same thing. And so even as I open this up, like I said, the silver is coming off, but it's not a lot by any means. And I think it helps to wash it. So probably 2 good washes might be enough to get all of the silver that might be just, but also I think because I folded it in half on the silver side, that could be something that's making it a little loose. This feels like one of those. Have you all ever seen that foil design that people do when they buy the foil and put it on their clothes? This feels like that. This is what was done to that fabric. Yeah, you know what made me even think about it, because sitting a lot during the pandemic, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with, or I'm sure you are familiar with it because a lot of people have them, the standing desks. It just made me think the same thing when it comes to sewing. Like, it's probably healthy, especially the amount that I do sew. It's probably healthier for me to um, be standing because of the amount of time that I spend on sewing. Hi, Sabrina. Um, my stool is like right here. So if I sit, it's not too bad, but I think I just feel more comfortable standing. I really like it. It's very comfortable. You said we could do our own homework. Well, I think it's something that definitely, when it comes to understanding the ruffler foot or the gathering foot, I think as much as I use it, you would think I would look it up by now. I should know because I actually use it a lot. I almost never use the basting stitch method, so I should. You would think I would know, but I don't. I've never looked it up, so it's a really good question. All right, one more side to go, and then we'll be done creating the gathers. And I mean, I think this is going to be a pretty quick sew, especially because I didn't extend the length of this at all. So it took me a while to put the gathers in the other skirt because I extended the skirt all the way down, and then I had to make the overlay twice as long. But this one is not as long. So, some of you may know that this skirt that we're doing is inspired by an Altuzarra skirt. They make ruching type of dresses and then skirts. And I will tell you, if anyone saw the video of the skirt that I had posted, I looked that skirt up, and it's $950. Just for the record, that skirt, $950 is how much that skirt costs. It blew my mind. So the inspiration that we are making, that we are modeling after, costs $950. It's crazy. I was like, wow. But I do love that design. So I also just got in my my swatches that I ordered to make my cocktails outfit, and I'm gonna do a video, kind of show everybody the swatches because I do need to order my fabric, and then I'm going to start working on I am going to do a muslin. So I'm going to start working on that as well this weekend. So I finished, this is the second overlay for the front or back of the skirt. So they are both exactly the same. So we're going to put this not to the side, but we are actually going to get our skirt piece, one of our skirt pieces, and not right sides together, but wrong sides together. So we're going to have the right side of the skirt piece facing out. Let me just make sure. Not that it matters so much, because again, you're not going to really see it, but there is a right side and a wrong side to my skirt fabric. So I wanted to make sure that it is on the right side. And then you are going to take your overlay piece, and we are going to pin or clip it onto the side, and then we're going to base stitch it on. So the only thing you do want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that you have whatever side is the top and whatever side is the bottom, just because it is the top, bottom is larger than the top. So you just want to make sure you have the right pieces. And I have notches, so I know which one is which. So we're going to basically take it and we're going to clip or pin it to the side, but you are going to need to kind of overlap a little bit so that you can fit this entire piece onto your skirt piece. You can have a little bit of a drooping at the bottom, but not much. You want to make sure that the majority of your edge lines up with your skirt piece. So if you need to, you might need to overlap a little bit, or that's if you use the ruffling foot. If you use the gathering foot, then you can just adjust your gathers to make them smaller. And so in my case, I have like about 1.5 inches that hangs too long, and it's probably okay for the most part, but I'm going to overlap just so it fits onto the bottom perfectly. And so that's where it would have probably been helpful to do, like, to your point, Monica, of knowing how much to adjust. I could have done like the first 2 inches as a single gather every single stitch, and that probably would have been enough to make it exactly even. So all I'm doing right now is clipping, lining up my raw edges and clipping, and I'll show you, or you could pin it, but I'm using clips. Here we go. I think this is going to be so nice. I'm so excited already about how this is going to look. This might just, I plan to wear this like everyday wear, but it's probably going to be too dressy for that. But this might be just something that you can like dress up or dress down with the right top and the right shoes. So I'm going to clip the other side, and then I will show you exactly what I did. Again, this is right side of the skirt to the wrong side of your overlay, meaning you're going to have both right sides facing up. Thank you so much, Black Sewing Network. I appreciate your contribution. Thank y'all so much. Again, I hope that other people will try to make this. I think this is a really easy sew, and I'd love to see people participate in the hackathon. Again, really exciting. I said this before, but I'm just really excited by the energy in the sewing community right now. Just like so much positive amazing energy. People are just coming with their awesome challenges, inspiring other people to participate. We're 3 weeks away from the Baltimore Fractals, and just seeing everybody working on their Baltimore Fractals outfits is like so inspiring. It's actually caused me to like level up a little bit. Like, okay, I need to get started on my muslin. I'm working on everything else but my muslin. But I'm motivated because, like I said, all of my my swatches have come in, and I'm like, okay, this is good. Timing is great. All right, a couple more clips to go, and I will be able to show this to you, what I have done, and explain it just to make sure everyone knows. And for those that aren't aware, this is my muslin back here, although it's not a muslin because I am going to be wearing it. I am absolutely going to be wearing it. I know, right, Lisa? 3 weeks. I know. I was just like literally saying, I mean, it's the 13th and it's on August 3rd. And luckily, I have like a full plan for what I'm going to do. So I think I'll be able to just kind of knock it out. Okay. So this is one side right here. And as you can see, you can kind of see the ruching, how it's going to, you know, ruche when you put it, well, when you put it on. But basically what I've done is I have lined up, and if you look at it on this side, you'll see I've lined up the edge of, oh, let me take this off the screen so you can see better. So I've lined up the edge of my actual skirt. This is on the inside. This is the outside with the gathered part of it. So it's lined up, and I've done it on one side, and then I am doing it on, here's the other side as well. So this is basically one piece to your skirt. And I'm going to do the other piece. And then we're going to basically, we are going to do a basting stitch right in our seam allowance, or you could do it like right over your gather stitch. We're going to do a basting stitch down the side of here, and then the same thing on the other side. Basting stitch on this side too. So I'm just going to lay this behind me while we do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's the top. And again, we are laying right side to wrong side. And I'm just clipping them. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got this fabric on Last Chance, and I was shocked that it was on there because I'm like, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful fabric. Beautiful, beautiful fabric. And again, I am making sure that all of my overlay fabric is fits onto my skirt fabric. So Again, probably easier to do if you use the gathering method to, because you could just pull the strings, gather a little bit more if you need to, or pull the gathers out a little more if you need to ensure it matches the length. The other thing is that, you know, I use knit for the one that I have on the dress form, but you could, I'm not using knit now, but I am using a two-way stretch fabric. And I feel like, you know, as long as you have a fabric with a fair amount of stretch that allows you to get in and out of it, because there are no zippers to this. So that's the other thing. You just want to make sure you have enough stretch that you can get in and out of the skirt. So knit is the best for doing that. But the other thing is that you could put a zipper in it. So if you needed to use less stretchy fabric, or you wanted to create this design with some type of woven fabric, you could totally do that by putting a zipper in it, which would allow you to be able to get in and out. So one side is done. I'm doing the other side now. And then the next step that we will be doing is we are going to be base stitching. Okay, so let's see. Do I think the skirt could have pockets? Lisa, I think that the skirt could have no, I don't think so. I was thinking it through. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's possible. I got to think about it. The reason why, at least not how we're going to construct it, I don't think it could have pockets, because part of the way that we hide the raw edges is that we put right sides together and we stitch this whole gathered part inside. So you're not going to see it. And so if you have pockets, your ability to be able to do that, I would have to figure it out. I'm sure I hate to say no, but because I feel like it is possible, but it would change the way that you're constructing it. At least the way that we're doing it right now would change. So temporarily, no, but it's possible. I think with some playing around with it, I think you could figure out how to add pockets, like side, inline pockets. You could figure it out, because I could see a way that it could be done. But it would require some constructing it a little bit differently than the way I'm showing you right now. But that's a great question. This is quick and quite doable. What's the pattern again? Yes, it is quick, right? Because you could, Lisa, I see you. You can see the vision of how we're putting this together, right? This pattern is, thank you for asking about the pattern. So the pattern is Simplicity 9789, and we are using the skirt, but you could really use any skirt pattern to do this. So if you have a favorite, a tried and true skirt that you use, a straight skirt that you use that has like a pretty snug fit, you could totally use that pattern. But this is 8789. And again, I've done a live sew along using the top to make a full dress with this same style, like the ruching that is on this top. We didn't use this. We didn't do this this strap part. We actually did view B. So you can see view B is what we used. View B is what we used to basically make a full skirt, a full dress using view B, and it has the ruching on it as well. But this is pretty straightforward to do. I definitely encourage. And if you do it, make sure you post it on Instagram, because again, there is the pattern hackathon 24. That's the hashtag. There are giveaways. So again, go to unsocial, UNSEWCIAL. Go to her Instagram page to know more about the pattern hackathon. and when you need to submit your hack to be eligible for some of the prizes and giveaways. She's got some amazing sponsors. So yeah, I would encourage you to do it. And like Monica said, this is a pretty quick hack to be able to do. So here's our back of our skirt. We are going to now do our basting stitches, and we're going to then put our skirt together. And then we just have to put on the waistband, which I did not do. As I remind everyone, I didn't put a waistband on this one, just because I tried it on. I liked it without the waistband, and so I decided not to put one on. But we will be putting the waistband on this one. I'm probably going to try it on before I put the waistband on, just to make sure everything fits the way I want it to fit. And then we're going to put the waistband on, which I'm got the waistband in this same color fabric. But we're going to sew it together right now. And let me just check Instagram. Let me see. Alicia, I don't know what you're making, but the fabric is gorgeous. Thank you. So we are making a Altuzarra inspired skirt. It's a ruche skirt. And so here is, you can't really see it. This is probably not a great example of the skirt because of the fabric. It's, and the way I have it on the mannequin, you can't really see it, but you can definitely see it a lot more when I have it on. And let's see. The fabric is so pretty. Thank you so much, Alicia. Thank you for coming on. Hey, Crafty Creations. Hi, Janine. Karen, thank you for staying on and being on. Let's see. All right, so let's put in our, put our basting stitches in. And here we go. So I'm again adjusting my stitch length to 5.0. And I am doing my basting stitches in the seam allowance because, again, we need to be able to hide that. Oh, but before I do that, I need to change my foot out. And I'm really excited to try this on. So the other reason why this pattern is so great is because if you all have been following Black Sewing Network, you will know that this month is the Power Hour month, meaning that we are doing sew-alongs that are 2 hours or less. And this definitely will fall into the 2 hour or less realm. As you can see, let me see, what are we? We are 48 minutes. We're doing so great. Thank you all so much for joining. I appreciate you all joining on this beautiful Friday. Okay, so again, I'm lining up my raw edges, making sure that my that I am stitching my basting stitch in the seam allowance. And here we go. There we go. So anybody working on sewing anything, let's see, after basting, are you going to sew them together? Yes. So Monica, I probably answered that question already. Sorry, I didn't see it till now. But yes, after basting, we are going to sew the front to the back, and that's where we're going to do our actual stitch. So drop in the chat. Anybody working on sewing anything this weekend? Drop that in the chat. You all, my plan for the weekend is to start and maybe even finish my muslin. I will be sharing for Baltimore Cocktails. I will be sharing with you all parts of that process. And speaking of Baltimore Frogtails, Black Women Stitch did do an interview with them as well. So if you did not have a chance to listen to that, make sure that you go on to, you can get that, listen to that podcast on Black Women Stitch YouTube. But if you are part of the Patreon family like I am, you could also get a video. So they did a really great job of talking about Baltimore Frogtails and really getting us so excited So definitely make sure that you check that out, even if you are not able to attend. It's just really gives you a good understanding of all that goes into preparing, and may get you excited, or maybe even convince you to attend. There is still time. I'm sure there are still tickets available, but I don't know that for sure either, because the hype is real. Everybody is super excited. So, and I'm doing a quick back stitch. All right, there we go. One side down. So again, like I said, lots of great things going on. Hackathon challenge. By the way, I'm excited also because I also won, I guess last week. I think it was last week, this week. The BSN, they had a challenge. It was BSN Juneteenth's challenge of basically sewing something to highlight a Black designer. And I'm going to show you what I made. Oh, I took it off my dress form. Oh, well, I have a video on my YouTube page and my Instagram page. So please check it out. And I need to post, I'm going to post it on my TikTok page too, so you all can check it out. But right now, if you want to see it, it is definitely on my Instagram and my YouTube page. I won, and I was so excited. I did turn Nikki's dress, her Know Me 2016 dress, into a two-piece crop top and skirt. Super, super cute. I really like it. Fits so well. All right. Okay. Making sure I got my raw edges lined up. There we go. Okay. I thought I accidentally sewed over my skirt fabric. That's the other great thing about doing this with the basting stitch, because it's easy to fix if you did do something. And I'm down to the last little piece. And up. Now do a little quick back stitch. There we go. And I'm just going to show you this. So this is what one piece looks like sewn together. You could see that. You could see that. Here's what the back or the inside will look like. You could see that. And you could see that. So that's one down. We've got one to go. And let me just check. Let's see. So cute. Thank you. Okay, girl, I'm going to make you one. I'm going to make you one. You said, look, Lisa said, they were great to speak with. They were so awesome. I was so glad. I listened to your interview this morning and I was like, go girls. They are representing my city. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Monica. Let's see. Hi, Ella. Welcome. Salty Girls, welcome. Ella is from North Carolina. Welcome. Happy to see you. Thank you for joining. All right, so we're doing the same thing on the other side. Again, anybody sewing anything this weekend? So Lisa said pockets might make it sag in the front. Yeah, I am really, when somebody asks me about something, I hate saying no, it's not possible without trying to work through it and figure it out, because in the dresses that I made, I do not have pockets in them. So in the full dresses that I made like this, they do not have pockets. Those dresses are kind of like, you need a clutch. I'm carrying a clutch today kind of dress. But my intention in making this, even though the material feels like really dressy, is for it to be like one of those more casual, like a tank top and maybe a jean jacket at night, but not for it to be like a super dressy outfit, even though this fabric is definitely giving dressy. And if it wasn't a skirt, I probably would be like, yeah, it's going to be dressy, date night kind of thing. And part of the reason why I was thinking about even doing the fabric on the other side is because the silver is a little bit muted, and it kind of will give the more feel of a more less dressy feel. But it's so beautiful, and I didn't want to, I only have a little bit of this fabric, and so I'm like, let me make it count. Let me make it count. So again, I'm just making sure that my all my raw edges are lined up, and that my gather is all lined up from the front to the end. All right, one side done. And I'm just moving to the other side. It's going really quick. Okay, anybody sewing? And I'm making sure I check, because I know I've asked, and if somebody said it, I hopefully didn't miss it. But anybody sewing? It's like, this is probably the coolest day we've had in the last 2 weeks. It's a little rainy outside today. So it's like a perfect sewing day, in my opinion. Perfect sewing day. So yeah, I've picked out my fabric that I am going to be doing my muslin for my frocktails, and I'm hesitant to do them. So this is the thing. The thing about doing a muslin for frocktails, at least in my mind, has been, if I do this muslin and something happens and I don't have time to do my actual garment, I need to be able to wear this muslin to frocktails. Like, that's always been my mindset. And so this is a little different, because the fabric that I'm thinking about using to make this, my muslin, is not something that I would want to wear. So I've been conflicted I've been hesitant to start it for that reason. Like, should I just go ahead and spend the money ordering something? But I'm just going to go ahead and just do it. Because it's not an awful fabric. It's just not the one that I wanted. Wasn't giving me what I needed it to give to be like a sufficient muslin. But I do need to create a muslin before I sew on my actual fabric. It pays off every time, especially when you're doing something like recreating something using multiple patterns and doing something that you haven't done before. So I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone in creating this, because I'm doing similar to what I did with Chicago, which is putting things together, putting multiple different types of patterns together to create it. But the one thing I will say is I feel like it strengthens my sewing skills. I get better every time I do something like this, so I'm excited for that reason. All right. With that said, we have finished side 2. Here we go. We have finished it. You can kind of get the feel for what it's going to be, what it's going to look like. Okay, so Lisa said, I'm sewing microwave cozies for my coworkers and finishing up a pillow for my friend's daughter. You know what? I want to make those microwave cozies. I have not made them, and I actually bought a pattern, even though I remember when I first started on TikTok, people would be up in the middle of the night, sewing them. And I kept saying, I am gonna sew these. I'm gonna make one because they are so cute. And who doesn't need one? Like everybody needs one. So kudos to you for doing that. For your coworkers too. Like you're probably like one of their favorite coworker. All right. Are you selling it to them or are you giving it to them, Lisa? So Unsocial says, I'm working on a hack of simplicity 90s, 95, 98. Okay. I'm not surprised and I cannot wait to see that. Cannot wait to see that. Like the unsocial, unsocial hackathon challenge, pattern hackathon challenge is so awesome. I love that. Thank you for putting that out there. That's so awesome. So, okay. So, and let me just see. Ella says, am I using a pattern? And Rosewood says, I'm silting quilt blocks. So quilt blocks are what you put together to make the actual larger quilt. I'm assuming that is what that is. Tell me if I got that right. Gloria says, I'm cutting out a pattern for some shorts. This is definitely short season. So Ella, I am using a pattern as a guide. I'm using 9789 simplicity pattern, and we're using view D, which is the skirt. And we are really using this for twofold. One, you could use any skirt pattern. If you have a tried and true skirt pattern that you like to go to, that is the recommendation that it be something that's knit and has a pretty close fit to it, you could totally use that pattern. The recommendation would be that if you're going to use that other pattern, that you one, that it be knit, and two, when you create your overlay piece, because you will create the skirt piece using that pattern, but that your overlay piece needs to be twice as long as your skirt piece. What makes this one work so well is that the front and the back are exactly the same. So you're not cutting a different pattern piece. You're literally cutting it on the fold and cutting two, and that creates your front and your back. And the same is true for your overlay pieces as well. So now that we have both of our pieces base stitched together, you are literally going to take your front and back pieces and you are going to put them right sides facing, and we're going to clip them, lining up the raw edges, edge to edge, and then we are going to actually sew them together. So you want to make sure that, and I'm going to do this before I forget, that you turn your stitch length back to your regular stitch, which mine is 2.5, my normal stitch length. And then we're just going to line up our raw edges on the sides, because then we are going to be basically stitching these together which will create our actual skirt. And Lisa says, I'm going to get this muslin. I'm going to get this muslin off the table. I've been looking at it too long. You know what? So I have two things that I absolutely, again, I'm traveling so much in July. July is normally a month that I don't travel a lot in. So the fact that I'm traveling as much as I am in July is like, it's unusual. So I usually can get more sewing done, particularly on the weekends, because I even have some travel on the weekends. Like this week, for example, I'm traveling on Sunday. But I made some, with Auntie Carol's help, made some adjustments to that blazer that we did about a month and a half ago over the course of 4 weeks. So I finished it, but I wanted to make some adjustments to the sleeves. And so she helped me figure out how to make the adjustments that I need to make to the sleeves. And so I still have not been able to finish it so that I can show it. And I really want to show it because it is so nice. So that is like the thing that I really want to get done. And of course, I've sewed, as everyone knows, a million things since then. So, but I've got to get that done. I owe it to the people to get that done. So that's like my must. And then I have a couple of things that I have completely cut out and have not even started. And so it's just like all these. So after this frock tails, then things will slow down quite a bit for me. But I am literally traveling almost nonstop through frock tails. I have probably like 5 sew days left between now and frock tails. So I've clipped both sides, and now I am going to stitch up both sides from top to bottom. And I can't wait to try this on. So before I put on the waistband, I am going to try this on just to see how it feels, how it fits. Is it giving everything that I, want it to give? The basting definitely helps. Everything stay fit together. What are we? We're just over a minute. Lisa said, you said you're giving them the cozy bowls. That is, let's see. That is awesome. And I'm doing a quick back stitch. Okay, one side is done. And now we're going on to the other side. And so just to give you a little bit of a feel what that looks like. So I have stitched together this one side, and you can see the all of the gathering is enclosed on the outside. So when we look at it on the inside, and I'll just show you that really quick, you can see it's all enclosed. No gathering is showing. It's all enclosed on the outside of that. So now we're doing the other side. Same way. And I'm doing 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I didn't say that earlier, but that is what I'm doing. And again, just making sure that all of my edges are lined up, because that will ensure that all of the gathers are all outside of the main stitch. Again, this is a really quick, I think, quick tack. If you like the skirt and you're thinking about making the dress, I definitely would encourage you to look at my tutorial for the dress and the tips for making the dress, because you would use the top to make the dress version of this. You would hack the top, in other words. Almost done. All right, now I'm going to turn this right side out. So this is the, make sure this is top, this is top. So this is the skirt. So I'm gonna try this on before we put on the waistband at the top. But I just want you to see this is what it is going to look like once you sew both sides, and you can see how the gathers are enclosed. They're not, you can't really see them from the outside. So I will be right back. I'm going to try this on before we put on the waistband. Oh, this is so cute. So here we go. So this is, and again, I don't know if you can see the ruching, but it is super, super cute. Let me take this off so you can see. Remove. Okay. So it is super, super cute. And you can see, like, so on this one, I mean, I'm going to add the waistband, but you don't, if you have a knit that's really elastic enough and it'll stretch back and not give you the pull, you don't really have to add the waistband to it. You could really try it on and feel like, does it give you the look that you want? And again, this one goes down to my knees. I don't know how much you can see. Let me just move this out of the way so you can see it. But this goes down to my knees. This one on the dress form goes down to my ankles. So, but if this gives you any feel for how it looks, it does drape a little bit in the front, which is how it's supposed to do. But it fits really, really well. So we're gonna add the waistband. This waistband, let me just tell you, the waistband that is with the skirt is a pretty wide waistband. You could definitely adjust it to your liking. If you don't want it as wide of a waistband, you can make it a smaller waistband. So again, this is one of those things where you make it the way that you like it. And the other thing I will say is that I don't think the ruching shows up really well on camera. In person, you can see it really, really well. Same thing with this. You can't really see it, I don't think, on camera. At least when I'm looking at it through the camera, you can't see it as much. But if you use a plain fabric, you can see it even more. But you don't have to use a plain fabric, I guess is what I'm saying, because as I look at it, it's very, very evident. I don't know if I get closer, if you can see it any better, but it looks really good. Thank you. I'm going to try to take really good video and photos, like really close up, so you can see it, because I feel like you can't see it as good as it actually does look. So I'm going to take this off. We're going to add the waistband to it, and we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to try it on with, let me show you. I don't know how this is going to look, but you all remember, again, the whole goal was to make this so it's casual, but I'm going to try it on with, when we do the final look, I'll try it on with this. I don't know if it may not look, I don't know, so don't judge me if it looks a little, doesn't match up for the look, but we'll try it on with this. If it doesn't look good with this jean, this is 7757. Y'all know my favorite. which I still haven't pressed out at all. But if it doesn't look good with this, then I do have a navy blue tank top that I probably will wear it with, because again, I'm going for a more casual look. But I'll be right back. We're going to add the waistband, and we're going to do our final fit and wrap this up. Super, super cute. I just love it. I'm just going to pin this up. Ouch. Pin this up here. Let's hang that there. Okay. So the waistband. So you should have cut 4 pieces on the fold of this pattern piece. It's a front yoke and a back yoke. So this is actually is a yoke, not, is it the yoke and the band, waistband? Let me see what this pattern is saying. Because I did not do it for the first one. It is. Okay, so we are taking our pattern piece number 6, and we are pinning, it says, the front and the back sections together. So I'm opening them up. I wonder why we cut 6. I mean, why we cut 4. Cut 4 on the fold. Okay. So here are my 2 of my 4 pieces. I am lining them up, and I'm going to stitch them on each. Is this the right side? Nope. I'm lining them up, and we are going to stitch them down the side. Okay, pin front and back sections together at side edges. All right, and I'm using clips. This would have been one that, let's see. What about making the waistband with the solid fabric and making the top with a straight bottom and attaching it to make a dress? You could very well do that. So you could definitely do it that way for sure. You could definitely attach the top and the bottom to make it a dress that way. The only thing I guess I'm thinking is that, are you saying, oh, with a straight bottom? Yes, yes. Okay, so you're saying not putting the ruching on at the bottom, just having the ruching at the top and making it a dress that way. You could totally do it that way. That would just give you a very different look. So just for those that might want a visual description, because I'm a visual person. So what Monica was asking is basically, if you look at this, the picture, view A and view D, her question is, what about if this is a separate top and a separate bottom? What about combining this top and this skirt together to make a dress? So you would have the ruching in the top and then the straight bottom for the dress. What about that? I think that would be totally cute. Another option, another hack that you could definitely do. And again, would be the skirt is literally, if we didn't add the ruching to the skirt, it is the front and the back piece are the same. It's just attaching at the side. We also did not do the slit for this either, but you could totally, that opens up the option for you to do the slit. So you could totally make a dress and do it that way. Absolutely. You could definitely do it. Great, great idea. And if you did it, and finished it in the month of July, it could qualify for the hackathon. You have to follow all the rules, but you could go to Unsocial's page on Instagram and see all the rules. But that totally would be doable, and I think it would be super cute too. You're making me put it to the list of something that I would love to try. Okay, let me see. Okay, so we're doing this twice because one of them is going to be the facing. So I am stitching this together at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Oh, good. Okay. This is why it's always so important to turn your stitch length back after you do basting stitches, because I'm that person that always forgets to do that. Okay, so I've stitched one side, and now I'm doing the other side. Let me make sure. Okay, and now I'm doing the other side. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing. Again, because you've cut 4 pieces, one of these is your facing and one is your outside fabric. So technically, I could have probably done this in the dark fabric, but I didn't. I just cut them both in this fabric. If for some reason I don't like it, I'll probably reconstruct it, but I think I will like it. I think I will like it. Okay, so let's see. No, I'm saying make the skirt that I made and the top on the pattern, but between the two would be the waistband. Make the skirt. Oh, okay, so you're saying have like the solid waistband. So have the ruching top, the ruching in the skirt. Oh, excuse me. The ruching in the top, the ruching in the skirt, and then have the waistband solid. I actually think that would be super cute. I actually like that even better than doing the whole thing or the skirt. So first of all, let me know if I got that right, if I'm describing it right. But if that is what you're saying, I do like that. So for those that might be interested, basically what Monica is saying is do the ruching still on the bottom, like what we just did, that hack, but then have the waistband, which is straight. So if you could see it, it's a flat waistband, no ruching on it. And then have the top basically stop at the waistband, but also have the ruching at the top. So it's like ruching at the top, straight waistband, ruching at the bottom in the skirt. And I think that that is totally doable. And I think that design, that hack would be totally, I actually like that. I like that even more because it gives the look of like it's a top and a skirt, but it would be all one piece. I like that. And I think it's totally doable. Okay, so now it is saying with right sides together, raw edges even, pin the yoke to yoke facing at the upper edge, matching. Oh, I didn't stitch this side, sorry. Matching the side seam. So I'm gonna stitch this and then we are going to match up our yoke to our facing. Again, what I will just, repeat is that, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. Is that you totally do not need to add a waistband to this. If I wasn't doing it on live, I probably wouldn't even do the waistband because I like it without. But I also want to see how it looks. So I cut the fabric. I'm committed. We're doing the waistband. But I'm not saying I won't remove it later either if I decide. Okay, right sides together. So I'm turning one right side out and one, keeping one right side in. So we have both, again, both of the yoke and the yoke facing. And I am lining them up. And this is a pretty wide waistband. It's not, I usually don't do my waistbands this wide. Okay. So I'm lining up my side seams. And I'm going to start clipping them. And we're going to then stitch. They also recommend elastic, a piece of elastic. They give you an elastic, you have a pattern piece of which to cut your elastic with. That will, and this is one, a lot of people have mixed feelings about this style of adding an elastic. So this is where you're using an elastic. I think it's 1/4 inch elastic. Yes, 1/4 inch elastic, and you're literally just putting it into the top to give you, like, you know, a little support. I am going to put the elastic in here, but I don't know if I'm committed to keeping it because this fabric is see-through. And I'm going to see how it looks. Uh-oh, here we go. All right, so I've clipped it around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the smaller or the top, I am going to create a stitch. Hi, Shamir. I'm going to create or put a stitch in all the way around the top. I've matched up my seams. You also have notches that you should match as well. And I'm going to put a stitch all the way around the top. And yep. And I'm opening up my seam allowance too. So it lays flat. Because again, this is see-through fabric, so I don't want anything detracting from. And we are oh, here we go. No, I didn't open this one up. All right. And it is saying open out the yoke, press the seams towards the facing. So here we go. I'm just going to show you this really quick so you are aware. This is the yoke, the facing and the yoke one. stitched together. And it's telling us to open it out. Look at that. That's so perfect. Look how that's all lined up perfectly. You see that? I love when that everything just kind of lines up. Okay, it says basically you're going to press it. I'm not going to press this fabric because I'm nervous about pressing it. I have not put it under any kind of heat. So what I am going to do is turn it inside out like this. So let me see. Open out the yoke, press the seams toward the facing, cut a piece of elastic, the length of the elastic guide, which I just showed you, and stitch ends on the inside, pin the elastic to the facing over the seam allowance with upper edge. So basically it wants us to put the elastic. Let me just see something really quick. I want to see if you can see this elastic. I am also very nervous about that this is going to fit me, this waistband. No, you cannot see it because it's overlapped. So I would be able to put this elastic in here. You can't see it. So I wouldn't have any problem putting it in. But the thing that I'm going to say is that I don't think I'm going to be able to. Let me just see if I can get my leg in this. I don't know why my hands get that. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get my legs in this or my body in this with this waistband. So I don't think I can. Yeah. No, I'm not. Okay, so we're going to go to plan B because I cannot put this waistband on, get this over my hips. As you can see, it's like really little. If I put a zipper in it, obviously I would be able to get it up because it's probably the size. This is probably the size of my waist, but I can't get this over my hip. And because I did not use a stretch stitch, there's no stretch in this. So it's not stretching. Unlike the fabric, as you can see, I could stretch it and get it on. So I think two things. One, in terms of learning about this. If this was a knit, it wouldn't be a problem because it would have enough stretch and I could totally get it on. So I am not going to attach this waistband to the skirt because I wouldn't be able to fit the skirt and I would have to put a zipper in it, which I may end up trying to do, but we're not going to do it online. But for those that do want to do it, I do want to tell you about how, or basically advise you about how you're going to put the elastic, because if you do use a knit, you probably won't have this problem. This pattern is made for a knit. This is not a knit. It is a two-way stretch fabric, but it's not a knit. So that's why it doesn't give me the stretch that I need in order to be able to put this waistband in. So what you would be doing in terms of your final steps before you attach is that you're going to take a piece of elastic. You're going to cut the elastic according to your the length of your elastic guide. And then you are pretty much stitching this elastic to you could either create a casing. It doesn't tell you to create a casing, but it basically says stitch it to the seam allowance around the inside of that yoke. So you would basically be stitching it in, but you could also create a casing with your seam allowance and insert it in there. I think either option would work. And that's probably what I would do, just because why not? I think it'll hide it even more in there if you do it in the seam allowance. But you're going to insert that elastic into this piece first. Then you are going to take your waistband. You're going to have it right sides facing out, which is what I have right now. And then you're going to take your skirt And you're going to turn your skirt on the wrong side facing out. So I'm turning my skirt out, and I'm just showing you how to pin this. I'm not actually going to do it for the reasons that I said, which is that it's not going to fit. I might end up just cutting a larger size just because I'm curious for how it's going to look. So when I take pictures later, I'll decide if I'm going to add another one. But basically, you're going to take this wrong side facing out, and you are going to take your skirt, your waistband, and you are going to put it on the inside. The inside of your skirt, lining up your seams and lining up your edges. Your seams and your notches. And you're basically going to pin this all the way around like this. So I'm going to clip it just so I can show you. Loosely clip it, making sure that you get all of your edges in. And it might even help to just do a basting stitch. In fact, I think it tells us to do a basting stitch. It does. So it tells you to do a basting stitch around before you attach your skirt to. So after you put your elastic in, it tells you to do a basting stitch to baste both your facing and your yoke together around the edge. So you would line those up, and that will make it much easier to keep everything lined up. So you're going to put a basting stitch all the way around this entire piece. Then you're going to take your skirt and you're going to line up. So here's my skirt, and you're basically going to put right sides together. So right side to right side, and you are going to line up the side seams with the side seams of your skirt, and you'll clip it all together. And I'm just going to, I'm not going to actually baste it together, and I'm taking my other side seam, matching it up with the side seam of the skirt. I'm kind of sad now that this isn't going to fit the way, but it's okay. And then, of course, you'll clip it all the way around. I'll put one more in here just so you'll be able to see. And I have some extra fabric left, so I'm actually gonna do a larger one just because I want to see how it's gonna look and if I'm gonna like it. Because of course, the very thing that I didn't think I was gonna like, I feel like I'm gonna like it, and now I gotta do it. Where's my edge? Okay, here we go. So again, another reason why it's really good to base stitch it, because you have your overlay, you have your, okay, so once you do that, then you are basically going to stitch all the way around. You're going to be stitching all the way around. Sorry, let me hold this so you can actually see what it's going to look like. So you're going to stitch all the way around. Again, your waistband is on the inside, right sides together. And once you're done, then your seam will be on the inside and your waistband will be on the outside with your seam of your waistband on the inside. So again, if you use a knit or a stretchier fabric, this is not going to be an issue. But because this fabric, it is stretchy, but it's not a four-way stretch. It's not nearly as stretchy as knit. So I have a lot more constraints on here because because of all the stitching that I did, and I didn't use a stretchy enough. I didn't use a flexible stitch like a zigzag stitch, which is what I probably should have done, but I didn't think I would have an issue with it because the fabric is stretchy enough for me to get the skirt on. So I wanted to tell you that part just so that if you do decide to add this waistband, I would say it's optional depending on the fabric you use. Again, I didn't do a waistband in this one. So I'm going to just give you a final look. I'm going to try this skirt back on. I'm going to put it on with the top that we made last week, 7757, just to give you a little bit of a feel for how it might look styled. Don't judge me. I've never put these two things on together, so we're going to see how it's going to look styled. And worst case scenario, not worst case, but like if the style is not to my liking, I will probably, because I do am, even though this is like a little bit of a dressy fabric, I'm going for a dress down look. So not like dressy. I will probably wear, like I have a navy blue tank top that looks just like this. I would probably wear that, or even white, right? Because I'm just looking to be dressed down, not dressed up. So give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna put this on with the 7757 top. Y'all know my favorite top. We're gonna see how it looks. Again, dressed down, not dressed up. That's what we're going for. So I will be right. I will be right back. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is the skirt. I did not put on 7757 because it doesn't, I don't think it gives the right vibe. When I put it on, it wasn't, it didn't match up. The colors didn't match up quite right. But as I mentioned, this is a very dressy fabric. You could totally go heels, dressy. But again, I was going for more of a dress down look. So this is what I was kind of going for, like a tank top, a jean jacket, probably like some white tennis shoes, something like that. That's totally what I was going for, like a mix of dressed up, dressed down. So this is what it looks like. Again, no, there is no waistband on here. I'm going to play around with it and try to see if I can add the waistband just because I'm curious for how it will look. Let's see. Yeah, curious for how it could look. But this is totally just like, again, an everyday kind of casual look. I don't have any tennis shoes on, but I would totally wear tennis shoes with this look. Like Friday night, it's raining outside, 70 degrees. Like this is what I would totally say. This is a totally cute, look. Again, this fabric is super dressy, so you could totally go a completely different direction and wear like a camisole, a cami top with some heels and without the jean jacket and totally get away with it. I think it would be totally cute. But the skirt is the highlight. This is the Altuzarra inspired skirt with the ruching. This is the one without, it has no waistband on it, but you could totally do a waistband. Again, if you have a knit, you can totally do it. My issue with this is that I can't get it on without putting a zipper in it, because while it will fit my waist, I can't get it over my hip. But I do think it would look cute with the waistband. Just kind of the contrasting of the straight to the ruching, I think is super cute, and I think you could totally do it. But thank you. I think it's really a cute little mix of, kind of dressy with sporty kind of look with some nice little tennis shoes. I would totally wear this. This is totally something I would wear. And I feel like it would look good with 7757 too, if you do the right color. Like, I think it would look good with a white. I think it would look good with a lighter blue, but the dark jean, it just was too much of a clash. It wasn't dark enough to be dark to match with this. It was clashing with the blue. So I just thought it wasn't right. So thank you so much. I hope that you all really try this. Again, we used Simplicity 9789. You can extend the length. As I mentioned earlier, you can extend the length and do something that is floor length or ankle length. I did this one with the Halloween fabric because I think it is so cute. I'm probably going to wear this tomorrow, I'm not lying. But I think you could totally do it by extending the length down. This is definitely a totally casual look. This is another casual look. But I love this skirt. It's super cute. It's super comfortable. I would totally do it again and again and again. As I said, I made 2 dresses, and the tutorial for my dress is on my YouTube page. The Altuzarra inspired dress using the same, pattern. And Monica thought of some other ways that you could make a hack of this pattern and do a total dress, which I totally think would be really cute. So I hope you try it. If you do hack it, make sure that you post your hack on Instagram, tag pattern hacking. Sorry, no, wrong. Pattern Hackathon 24, hashtag Pattern Hackathon 24. And make sure you check out on socials page so that you can get all of the detail, because I don't want to mislead you or tell you miss something and you don't become eligible for the hackathon. Because if you do this, you should definitely post it so that you could be eligible for the hackathon challenge. It's hackathon, Pattern Hackathon 24, hashtag Pattern Hackathon 24. Make sure you do that. It's going on for the month of July. So make sure you post your hacks. And thank you all for joining. If you do decide to sew and you have questions, do not hesitate to drop your questions. You could direct message me on social media, or you can drop your questions in the chat. I monitor it. Or on post on the video, I monitor it and I'll answer your questions. So thank you all. We finished in under the 2 hours, Power Hour, and I will see you all next Friday. We have another Power Hour, quick sew along next Friday. I will see you all then. Thank you for joining, and I will see you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone. Thank you again for joining.